right. Good evening, man. I'm
Yeah.
Dr. Okun, the Medical Director, General Hospital, Sabogida. Okay, talking about my journey to Sabogida Ora. Prior to my coming here, I was in the private practice in Benin. I reside in Benin with my family. My wife is a nurse, a senior nursing officer with UPTH.
Oh,
We
wow.
have 2 kids, and we
Wow.
reside in Benin. So I was in Benin and in the private practice, in creative private practice. Let me qualify it.
Yeah.
And before one day, I was reached out to by the chief of staff. First of all, they reached out to me by one of the staff of the National MLB House of Assembly. Her name is
Yeah.
Aima Alegbe, who is my
Okay.
friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
so after which the Speaker's Chief of Staff, Honorable Odike Irobe, also reached out to me, and before the Speaker reached out to me too. At the time, I understand that the hospital has gone about 11 months without a doctor, so the place was literally not functioning. It was in comatose, and Ora people at the time had to seek alternate centers for medical care. Some would go to Irua, as far as Irua, another went to Aochi for medical care. And there were a lot of mortality at the time because when there is an emergency and there is no hospital to take the sick person to, most of the time before they get to Irua, the person must have passed.
Wow.
So, yeah, so when they reached out to me, in all fairness, I was not interested.
Hmm.
I was never interested to come because for me, I always believe that a doctor who works with the government is an invitation to poverty
Hmm.
because truth is the government doesn't pay. The average doctor in Nigeria does not earn up to 400,000 naira monthly.
Wow.
So why would I
Wow.
want to work with a government that won't pay me up to 400,000 naira monthly?
Hmm.
With all the stress and everything. So, and as a doctor doing your private practice, and with my surgical skills, because I have surgical skills, with
Yeah.
my surgical skills, I make far more than, in fact, 3 times, if not 4 times more than what the
Wow.
government will pay me in a month. So
Jesus.
why would I want to work with the government? So it's invitation to poverty. So outrightly, I refused. The speaker didn't stop there. He kept reaching out to me and all of it. And at the point, there was a crisis because the community chiefs and elders were on his neck, and he was on the neck of the commissioner for education, commissioner for health, and the executive secretary of the hospital management agency. So at the time, they now told him, if that's the case, we don't have any doctor to post down to Sabo at the time. But now, if the community can come up with a doctor who is their son from that locality, they are going to give
Hmm.
him that employment. So that was how my name came up, and it started reaching out to me, and I refused to uh, budge. So I didn't apply for the job. Let's be frank. So I just want to
Yes.
give kudos to the speaker. I didn't apply for this job. So the speaker sent my name to the hospital management agency, and I was scheduled for interview. They called me several times. I refused to go for the interview,
Wow.
and the interview day passed, and he kept reaching out to me. He was resilient. He was resilient.
Hmm.
Reaching out to me, and I told him, well, I didn't attend the interview, so I think the opportunity for the job has passed. And he insisted that the opportunity for the job has not passed. In fact, I have been given an appointment, the appointment, that the job rather, that I should come to his office to collect the appointment letter.
Wow.
So at the point, looking at how passionate he was, because uh, frankly, we were on this issue for over 2 months because I bluntly refused to come because I had to put into consideration the economic aspect of it, and that is the truth.
Course. Yes.
So when we're thinking about the passion for the job, you should also think about the economic aspect of it. I won't take passion. I won't take passion to the mall to shop for my kids. I won't use passion to feed the family. So, but the way he kept reaching out to me, and a lot of promises were made about my how to make me comfortable and look inwards to see how they can also raise other monies aside the salaries and all that. So at that point, I had to discuss with my dad, and I told my dad, this is what's happening. But for me, I don't want to come. And my dad would say, well, what's the point? He encouraged me to come because at the time I was already working my visa to Canada alongside my wife.
Your family. Wow.
So finally, I accepted after much persuasion from the speaker. So I accepted, and I resumed on the 19th of August last year. So as at the time I walked into the facility, it was a coma. In fact, it was like a game reserve, thick forest everywhere, dilapidated structure. The theater was not working, leaking roofs, bad infrastructure. The doctor's office, the chairs and the tables were dilapidated. It was an eyesore. But again, I had already given my word that okay, fine, I would come. So rather than see it as a problem, I saw it as a challenge. And I'm somebody that when I see challenge, I try to surmount such challenges. So I said, well, let me get into work. My plan was to just come that 19th of August, familiarize with the environment, and return back to Benin and resume in 2 weeks. But as at the day when I came, when I saw the crisis, patients were on ground and nobody to attend to patients and all that. So I started work that very day I resumed.
Wow.
So I just decided not to go back to Benin that day. So I stayed back. It was on a Tuesday. So I stayed back till the weekend before I went back to Benin. And that was how I started working here. And so at every point in time, I always try to give kudos to the speaker. Right on the blessing Agbebaku. If it wasn't his resilience, it wasn't his persuasion and all, I wouldn't have come. That was the truth. But we are here and we have to get the job done.
Yes.
And, so that was how we started, and I started writing letters to associations, different associations, if you're worldwide, Oyakhire, Holy Trinity Grammar School, Boys Association, individuals and all, to bring them up to date with the current dilapidated state of the hospital and see how they can come in with how they can help to fix the hospital to make it at least functional at the time. Even if it was 40% functionality we could achieve at the time, it was something that, yes, that I would appreciate. So I wrote to the local government chairman and at the time, the first donation I got when I resumed was an office chair that was donated by one Bryce.
Wow, you didn't even have an office chair. That is the height of this.
Yeah, so an office chair was donated to me by one Bright in Imigwe. He's a carpenter or a furniture maker. So he donated that to me. And I wrote to the local government chairman. I had an audience with her and I told her about the state of the hospital. After which I had an audience with the chiefs. At the time, the chief had already mobilized themselves to come and visit me in the office when they heard I came around. So I must also give kudos to the chiefs in Ora. Very educated chiefs, very purpose-driven chiefs. And after my interaction with them, that also strengthened my resolve to stay because I gave it to the chiefs. They are educated and purpose-driven. So they invited me to the Oyakhire loan to about the hospital. So I also went after meeting with the local local government chairman. And at the time, it was power. There was no power, nothing in the hospital. So they donated the generator to me, which was the second donation.
Yes, wow, I remember when you got that generator too.
Yes, yes.
Bosse,
Yes,
you
so,
know Bosse, right? Bosse.
yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes.
She was there that day and she covered it. Okay.
Yeah. So I got that generator and we were making progress. At the time, the theater was not functional. There was nothing in the theater, nothing in the theater.
Yeah.
So I also wrote to the local government chairman with, and after a while, she provided with me with equipment in the theater, a suction machine, oxygen cylinders, multi-parameter monitor, nebulizer. If we didn't have a nebulizer at the time, it was that bad that when the respiratory emergency comes, you can't even secure the respiratory, or you can't even, yes, at the time, there was no nebulizer to help to keep the patient's respiratory system intact. Yeah. Yes, at the time. She donated those, and we, by the special grace of God, we now started.
Yeah, let me say kudos to the local government, because for us, we think that the local government is not working at all. So I'm surprised that the local government was part of the help you got.
Yes. The local government chairman, Honorable Joy Ohoyo, she came and she did the facility. She did the facility for, and she donated those equipments to the hospital at the time. Yeah. So and we started working. So that was I think the third donations we had. Then I also wrote to Ivura Worldwide under the leadership of Mr. Sonny Oviageli. Yes. He flew down to Nigeria by himself. At the time, he couldn't come to Ora, so we met in Benin. So I also discussed with him, and then he took me to a medical store where he got me some more hospital equipment. At the time, I think he spent about a little above 1 million at the time to get me some equipment at the time. So that was the fourth donation, But again, there were a lot of things that also needed to be done. So I had written to Oyakhire USA at the time, although I didn't get their direct contact, but I wrote it through one barrister, Agbebaku. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, at the time. I wrote it through him, and I didn't quite get a response. And a lodge was donated to us, but we didn't have a lodge at the time by the Imokwede's family.
Yes.
So during that time, Dame Imokwede, the wife of Engineer Chris Imokwede, visited the hospital when she was in Nigeria. So we had a lot of talk about how to move the hospital forward and all. So one day I had to call her and I told her, look at what is happening in the hospital, and it is getting frustrating that I've been writing to different associations, and I'm actually losing patients. That, in fact, it gets to a point where I won't be able to take it anymore. I will leave and go back to Benin and continue my private practice. And she said it hasn't got to that if I've written to Oyakhire USA, I said, yes, I have, but I haven't gotten a response. So she asked if I had the president's number. I said no. So immediately she sent me the president's number and asked me to call. So immediately I got that number, I sent a text quickly on WhatsApp, introduced myself and the purpose of sending the message. And within the next 3 hours, I got a call from the president, Uncle Desmond Alufo. Yes, I got a call from him. And he told me that, he hasn't gotten any of my correspondence, that he's surprised that I'm telling him I sent a correspondence. And I told him, yes, I did. And he said he's coming to Nigeria on the 31st of December, that if it's possible for us to see, that he wants to do a facility tour. I said, okay, no problem, but I'm traveling. Because throughout December, I was in Sabo, because during that period, that is where you have a lot of emergency, people fighting, breaking their heads and all that, and they take attention. So I said, okay, let me just stay during this time, then by 26th, 27th, I'll go back to Benin and be with my family. So when he said by 31st, I said, okay, fine, we'll meet in Benin. But my second thought, I said I should be in Sabo so that when he arrives, I'll take him on the facility tour so that he can see the decay in the facility firsthand. So Yes, by himself. So I had to wait. So as at the time they visited, he came with our Uncle Chris Ojo, Honorable Godia Godion, and other members of Oyakhire. And we did the facility tour, and they were heartbroken. In fact, he was almost moved to tears because the height of it at the time was the fact that we didn't even have a washing machine. So my uglies at the time used their bare hands to wash hospital bed sheets.
That one I can't
with stay with patients who are ROVS positive, hepatitis B, and all of it. So immediately from his pocket, he gave me some money to get a washing machine. And at the time, we didn't have an accident and emergency unit. So when we have an ROTA and with deep laceration and import, I do those repair in the ward while patients are in the ward. You know how discomforting it can be for patients who are not comfortable seeing blood, And one of the issues that was preventing the accident and emergency unit from kickstarting at the time was a defective control switch. So which means when there was light or generator at the time, there was no supply because of the defective control switch. So Godion also brought out some money from his pocket to get it fixed, So they promised that when they get back, that we'll hold a meeting on Zoom so that I would discuss with the entire members of the association, which they did. It was 10 p.m. Nigeria time and 4 p.m. US time. So I met them and I discussed with them. I told them at the time I didn't have anywhere to sleep. I was lying on the ground.
That was serious.
Yes, but I saw it as well. It was. I said, well, this is a jungle. So when we are in the jungle, let us behave like
and it's a calling. It's a calling that you see all these things you're telling me now. You think it just happened. I think God called you to. I'm telling you, it's a calling because you feel it in your in yourself to help. It's different. It's not just a job for you, because some people. I mean, you just told me you missed Christmas. You didn't even go with your family. I lost my cousin. I lost my cousin in that. Well, he didn't die in the hospital because the former medical, whoever he was, doctor, I think they say he was from the below area. That day, the boy was sick. They took him to the hospital. Of course, there was no light. The gate was locked. They took him back home and he died. So that's a personal experience. And when I heard about that, I started investigating about the hospital. We went there one time with our camera. They arrested my correspondent. They said he had no right to go there to video it. But that video sparked a lot of, questions and a lot of need to help. That video did something. Sometimes you have to shock the system, because people sit down and say, "Oh, I don't know, Ora is like this. Ora is." They don't even believe that Ora is so, depleted. They think about Ora of when they were. Like I saw, I think it was the president of Holy Trinity Grammar School that said he was sick one time and he was actually admitted in that hospital, and he was so good and he got cared for. Right? So you can imagine somebody that left Nigeria with that imprint on their spirit, thinking that somehow, even if the hospital has gone bad, you shouldn't have gotten as bad as you talk about. So the need for people to see for themselves, you need to see some certain things to be able to appreciate the level of decay. And that shocks the system. And I'm glad we did it to shock the system. So you're being there in Ora, honestly, God will continue to lift you up. We don't want you to remain in Ora. If you have a calling somewhere else, you need to go. You understand? But just the fact that you took this upon yourself to help at this point, your name is written on the sand of times for us, for the Ora people. You understand? And so if you can talk about your work now, I saw you the other day with some students. I had to share that thing. Listen, any news I consume of you, I'm sharing it. You took some students from Holy Trinity Grammar School and took them in there. And somebody said, I'm sure medically, whatever, you did protocol. I'm sure you did protocol to take them in there. Because students in America here, they bring students to, I mean, the doctor is talking to you and the student is behind the doctor. You understand? So it's done. It's not as if it's something strange that people were saying. I saw some comments. But the fact that you were able to show them, there is something we say here. If you can see her, you can be her. If you can see him, you can be him. I'm sure there are children who are very bright in Holy Trinity Grammar School who wish to be medical doctors. That probably for so many years there was no medical doctor in that facility, so have not really seen one. Do you know what that would spark in their for the whole of their life? Just the fact that you give them that access to see what it means to be a medical doctor and see how to help, it will spark something in them that would eventually, cascade into them becoming something. Because if you can see what you desire, then it means it is possible for you to achieve it. So you just being in Aura just tells us that it is possible, that you are an Aura person, an Aura person, that you came back to give back to Aura. I mean, you just wrote our history in a better way. Because every time you talk about Aura, most people are so despondent about Aura. Nothing good comes out of Aura. It's not, you talk to people and but since I started the OGT network 3 years ago, of course, people told me, don't do it, don't. I'm like, please. I'm in the US, anything I can do, I will do. Stop telling me not to do, because I'm a very, optimistic person. I'm not pessimistic. I know definitely that there are so many other changes that need to happen in the hospital. But the fact that you have taken that first step, and the fact that people are beginning to gain confidence in even going to the hospital, I can't even begin to appreciate you for that. Appreciate your wife and your children. Your wife, just all of a sudden we just pulled you away from her. You understand? Because you with your testimony, you said you were not even thinking about it. Honestly, you didn't apply for it. So for her to even release you, if nobody has said thank you to Mrs. Oyakhire, I say thank you, Mrs. Oyakhire, for releasing your husband to us. Thanks to your children, because you are not there to tuck them in at night. So thank you very much for that. Thanks to your father for encouraging you to do that. And then every other person, to the speaker, for keep pushing. To Ima is your friend. I'm friend with her on Facebook. I talk to her. Ima, thank you for showing us that your friend is a medical doctor. Listen, everybody's story has a history. That's why they call it history. Tomorrow they begin to write your history. These names will be mentioned, and these names will lead to where you are. So we are so grateful for your help. What I wanted you to talk about again before we rounded up is now that you are there and you are working, there's still a serious. I mean, that place has been abandoned forever. So you still need the help. I still want you to call on people to continue to help. They can't leave you that way. And then the Uzeba. I want to connect Uzeba to this, because the Uzeba people need it. And I wonder, has any Uzeba man ever called you say, you left us? I'm sure somebody must have said, don't you smiling, somebody must have said something. You mean you took your service to, you understand? So I can understand how they feel, but just like I said, you come in, we'll bring somebody else. Maybe you'll find a friend and say, come do this with me. Come, let's help our community. So let's hear from that. About
all that. Right. Before I say that, I want to quickly talk about the students from Holy Trinity Grammar School. I was approached to give them a career talk in Holy Trinity Grammar School, which was supposed to have been given by Professor Ewan Alufohai, who was my teacher in medical school, but he was bereaved, so I was approached to give the lecture, and I gave them the career talk, and of course, to further motivate them, asked that two best students who will answer or follow the lecture and ask intelligent questions. Will follow me to the theater. At the time, I had an elective CS that I had booked at the time. They were eventually 3 students because one of the students was one who I have done appendectomy for, you know.
Oh, wow.
So there is nothing unethical about bringing them into the team. As a student in the medical school, I also witnessed several surgeries in the theater. They were well scrubbed in. They followed every protocol that you need to be followed before you go into the theater. And when we did all of that, it was an aseptic procedure, and we adhere to the aseptic protocol as much as possible. So there is nothing unethical about it. And I also intend to continue to motivate them. And if I have another opportunity to invite other students, I will still invite them, because you don't know who and whose life will be changed by these little actions of us. You know? So that's,
thank you for that. For correcting
then for the assistance for the hospital, there are a lot of things that the hospital still need, a whole lot of things, but I can assure you that the hospital is not what it used to be. Now you can see that it's like there's currently no power in the whole of Ora. There is no lights, you know. But we are using solar that was donated to us by Oyakhire Association USA. That the leadership of Desmond Alufoha, you know, which is currently using. They also got us televisions for all the world. They furnished my room. They furnished the nurse's room. They did a lot of things. You know? And the hospital is not what it used to be, you know. But the vision that I have for the hospital, I want it to be not just a secondary facility. I want it to be at least to render some tertiary services too, you know. So that is why I thank the speaker for also donating a 30 kVA generator, and he's also renovating the theater to make it a standard tertiary institution theater. You know, he has provided a ramp to access the accident and emergency ward, and recently he gave me an official vehicle in 2009 Sienna, and also donated 20 mattresses and pillow, and then 10 industrial fans. You know, so a lot of things still need to be done. Recently, Uncle Godi Aigbodion also reached out to me because the laboratory is not functioning up to 60%. Let's say not up to 50%, because we still have some machines that we need, like the fully automated chemistry analyzer, full blood count machine, and other machines that we use. So he reached out to me to send him the prices of these machines. Now, the drawback of this is that there is no flow. There is no flow in arriving at diagnosis, because diagnosis have to be it has to be backed up with investigation. So what we'll do is that we take this sample. But as at the time I came here, we were sending patients to Auchi and Ekoma to carry out this investigation. But when I came, I said it's a burden on the patient. So we should liaise with the laboratory so we can take the samples of the patient here and send it to either Auchi or Ekoma for analysis. And that analysis sometimes takes about 24 hours to 48 hours to come out. But if we have those machines, that analysis can come out within 30 minutes.
Wow, 30 minutes.
Yes. Within 30 minutes, you know, which will aid us in our diagnosis and in our treatment. You can imagine we have to wait for the next 24 hours to 48 hours before our diagnosis is confirmed and we treat. So what we do most of the time, we just do a empirical treatment while we are waiting for the confirmation of the diagnosis from the test results. So Oyakhire reached out to me. I have sent him those machines with the prices, and we are hoping and expecting that one or two of the machines can be provided, which will also aid us in patient management, you know. So also we don't have potable water. We don't have potable water. What we have here is a well, and recently it has been dried up recently. So we need to seek other source of water. So if we also get a borehole in the facility, we would appreciate it. The borehole, according to my findings, will cost about within 9 to 10 million to get the borehole here.
Wow.
And also with all the infrastructures that we have gotten, especially those that Oyakhire USA has provided, it's also imperative for us to, protect and maintain this infrastructure. And this is where perimeter fencing is. So there is no perimeter fencing. So as at the time I came, a lot of things have been vandalized in the hospital, we have been able to replace. So perimeter fencing is also very important. Of course, we have a lot of indigent patients. And I forgot to talk about one Mr. Friday Adiki from the USA that's also donated some consumables to us, BP apparatus and glucometers and others. So when we have indigent patients who cannot pay for their test, indigent patients who have deep laceration and cannot pay for dressing of their wounds, suturing of their wound, others. So these materials that were donated to us, I use them. I don't use it for all patients. I use it for indigent patients who cannot pay for their bills. So when we also have people who will donate all these things to us or ask us to give them the amount that we can use in purchasing all these consumables, or we write the consumables and give to them so that they can bring to us for the indigent patient, who also appreciate. And there's still a lot of things to be done, but I can assure you that the hospital is not where it used to be. However, it is far from where I want it to be, but it is not where I meant it. We have made tremendous progress. So and if there is more we can do. As at the time I came, I told you in the last interview that the place was like a game reserve. But if you come here now, the place is opened up. Before now, we used to share our rooms with reptiles like snakes and other reptiles. But there are no longer reptiles in the facility so far. Since I came, the place is well lighted up now, unlike the darkness where it used to be. When we switch off the generator now, we can switch on the solar. So a lot of have been. I'm fortunate to have met Uncle Desmond Alofohai, the president of Oyakhire US. My gratitude to every member of Oyakhire USA for even finding me worthy and trusting me with such a amount of money to be able to put all of this in place. I thank them very much, and I look forward to a robust and sustained collaboration between the hospital. The truth is, this is the only hospital that we have here that serves Uamura, Sabo, Oyakhire, and Oyakhire, and every oral community around. I'm the only doctor here, and it's quite crazy, but we are putting up, doing my best to see what I can do to get an improved patient care. So we thank God for where we are, and we are hoping that we can get more help from other associations, individuals, both home and abroad. All of these things cost money, and we hope and pray that God will strengthen everyone and replenish the pockets where all these donations are coming from.
Yes, one question I want to ask is, if you have oral sons and daughters that are medical doctors that live out of oral, can there be a program where they can come and assist, if they come back home, or they can, like I know in America here, sometimes in the school system, they have, people coming to assist. They are registered. Of course, they register them. They make sure that they go through all the background check to know that their credentials are right and all of that. And when they need help, they put the help. I don't know if you guys have a website, if you have a page where you can update people on what is going on, so that probably if you have like a doctor in Benin that is an oral person, if they can have an opportunity to come back and give their time. Sometimes it's not money, it could be time. Maybe give us, I mean, they can come in, give the hospital 2 weeks, you take a break. You know, that they are medical doctors, and you know that they can it should be free services. Those services have to be free, pro bono, like this they call here. You know, so that it's not a burden on the hospital to pay, but it will be a relief for you sometimes, so you can get some rest. Do they have such programs in Nigeria that way?
Well, the thing about Nigeria is that as doctors, the truth about doctors in Nigeria is that we are endangered species. That's the truth.
Yes.
Doctors are not well paid, so nobody is going to do pro bono. That is the truth. Nobody's going to do pro bono for even a day because
never say never. Never say never.
Yes, and it's actually difficult to even get doctors to come to the rural areas. It's difficult, first of all. Nobody wants to come because I have surgical skills, and in Benin, I could be called up to like 4 or 5 times in Benin to carry out a surgical, and I could do 2 surgical procedures, and I will make the money more than the money I receive as a salary in a month.
Wow.
So you can imagine that.
That's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah. So coming down here, it's a lot of sacrifice because, of course, it's affecting me economically. It is not what it used to be for me financially, and that is the truth. No one will want to come, and I'm here because of my affiliation with the community. My formative days were here. I attended Blessed Josephine Bakita Primary School in Sabo here. So majority of my friends are not from Oyakhire. Majority of my friends, my childhood friends, are from Sabo. So it's more I'm home. I'm Ora by association, even though I'm from Oyakhire. Yeah. So it is that affiliation that is keeping me here. You understand? So it's more like passion, but getting people to come to do 2 weeks. That 2 weeks they can be in Benin and they make a lot of money.
Wow. Maybe
yes,
we approach them.
Yes, that is the truth. And in fact, we discuss, and every day I get a lot of discouragement. That is the truth. And I have lots of offer. I'm not supposed to be saying this here, but I should. Just last week, and I had an offer of 950 because I have a surgical. I had an offer of 950.
They should know. We should wake up and see what we can do to keep you there. For real, we cannot take you for granted.
Yeah, so and I looked at it. I discussed with my wife. Okay, look at this, and truthfully, the only thing that prevented me from taking that offer was Oyakhire USA. How am I going to explain to Desmond Alufo that after the intervention that they just made in less than 2-3 weeks, and I'm out? Yeah, you understand, So
I understand.
I discussed with my wife, and these are my concerns. And then my wife said I should just reject the offer, and that was how I rejected the offer. Not because I didn't need the money, but again, accountability, integrity, matters. They have put so much trust in me. So to whom much is given, much
help is coming your way in the mighty name of Jesus. Help. That is why I'm so grateful for this interview. I'm going to break it into different parts so that people will, when the interview is too long, they don't consume everything. This area, I'm going to break it up and begin to call. There are too many oral sons and daughters that are in positions to clear your salary without even batting an eyelid. I mean, giving you exactly what you deserve. They shouldn't leave you in the hands of the government. That's the problem we have had for so long. We keep waiting for the government to lift us up. The government will not do anything, cannot do anything. We have to do it. Doctor, we are the OGT network is grateful that you granted us this interview. We see the work you are doing. We want to continue to reach out to you. And I hope you would be able, maybe in another 2-3 months, I can call and say, I hope things are better, that you give us the opportunity to interview you again. We'll definitely have to deal with that topic of your salary because you left your family. Your presence is not there. Your money should also not be a problem. So that's something we have to tackle. Like I said, I will talk to the presidents of Oyakhire Association and then call on other oral sons and daughters, especially we in the US area, certain things that we can give up to be able to help you. I'll give you another 1-2 months to make sure that what we have talked about, we have worked on it. And then I'll find out if things have changed. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I will. Dr. Oyakhire Uzoka on interview na Ohomo that Mama I remember my home iminutai. Help is on the way. Yes, help is on the way. Let us listen to this interview and see how we can go back and help so that we can continue to encourage Dr. Oyakhire. That's a real.